Skinfession time. I'm starting a new product, and I bought it on Amazon. Hi, I'm Sybil. I'm an esthetician and spa owner.
And hi, I'm Alex Ellis. I'm a body nerd and wellness expert, and we are business besties.
And bosses, running your own business, it's hard.
But we're terrible employees, and we're figuring it out.
I've already figured it out, but I promise that I'm going to share everything I know with you.
And we'll be brutally honest about what works and what totally sucks.
And I'm going to be super honest. A bunch of it sucks. So let's get started.
Yes, welcome back to Skinfessional. On today's show, we are talking specifically about client cancellations. If having them put a credit card down first actually helps, and how many cancellations is too many?
Yeah, and the secret to training your clients on how to cancel in the first place. And this is a big one, guys.
On how not to cancel.
On how not to cancel.
Yeah, we don't want them canceling.
Yeah, we don't want to cancel.
Because canceling is a pain in the ass.
It's true. Though sometimes I do sometimes want them to cancel. I'm going to be honest with you. This is Skin Confessions, right?
Yeah,
like when you're like, I really want lunch right now. I'm super hungry and
I ate so much before we started.
Or you hate that client so much and you just don't want to see them anymore and you haven't gotten them off your book.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's when you're like, oops, you're canceled.
Yeah, you kind of want them to. We all know it happens. But this is the holiday season, at least when we're recording this right now live. And sometimes during this season, I always say that it's a shell game of cancellations. Clients, they cancel for lots of different reasons. But I know that they also are doing a lot of rescheduling, which often will turn into cancellations for people as well for the season because your schedule is so booked. So I want to make sure that we get into kind of all of that.
So let's kind of talk about your process and how you deal with cancellations.
Right. So there's a few different things that I do for cancellations. So the first thing I do is I train my clients, and I train them from the very beginning. And I know that we've both talked about this where, it doesn't matter how full your schedule is or not full your schedule is. And when you're first starting, a lot of times you're looking at this empty calendar.
It's very empty and very vast.
You're just looking at this crazy empty calendar and you're like, I have no clients. I need all the money. And a client calls, you're like, yes, I want to take you. Come in right now. But what you're really saying is, I'm so busy. I can't see you right now. I'm booked 2 to 4 weeks in advance. I'm so sorry. And what you're doing is you're starting up this expectation of, you can't see me right now. You need to book in advance. And you're giving them this idea of scarcity.
And did you do this right from the get-go?
From the very, very beginning, when I had no clients on my bed, I was sitting in a room just like this. And it was quiet.
Cricket.
Nothing was happening. And it didn't matter who called me, what happened, how much they wanted to see me. I was not available. Simple as that. And I would literally tell people I'm 4 to 6 weeks booked in advance.
Wow.
Now I am truly 4 to 6 weeks booked out in advance. But then I wasn't. But I said I was.
Did you ever something opened up and make that, which is part of the secret?
Yes. So there are things that you can do. So what you do is you tell people, I have a wait list and I will 100% put you on it. Give me the times that you are available. Okay. And so what you can do is you can call them back and say, you know what? Something did open. And I can get you on. You are so lucky. And make sure that you tell them that you are so lucky to get on. This never happens. I'm so excited to get you on.
Can't wait to meet you.
Can't wait to meet you. It's super exciting. The other thing you can do is if you really need to see that person, they seem like you've got them on the hook and they're like, I need to see you right now, or I'm in from out of town, or you get this feeling that you're not going to get to see them again. And you really just need you need that appointment. Do the thing where you're like, I never do this, but let me call somebody and see if they'll move for you, because I know that the person, my next client, is, or my 3 o'clock or whatever, and give them a time that is not convenient. Your 3 and 4 o'clock appointments, they're dead zone. You know that nobody sees you then, okay? So find a time that's kind of inconvenient and see if that is a good time that they can come in. And so be like, give me a second. Let me call and see if my 3 and 4 o'clock can move for you. They're very kind about this. And I do have a spot that I can put somebody else into. So 1 second. And then sit around and be like,
just go fart around.
Yeah.
But what's really interesting about this, too, is you are creating that, supply and demand and that sense of scarcity. And it doesn't really matter if it's true or not.
Yeah, exactly.
Because even digitally, the booking software I use for phone calls for clients, I tell it like only put 2 openings a day and only show like the next 4 days, and giving that same idea of like the fake sense of scarcity, so that when somebody does get on your books already, they're like, whoa, this was really hard to get. Like, let me respect that time.
Exactly. Because, and that is a good point. It's that respect of time. I'm going to repeat that again because it's so important. Respect of time. Because if your clients do not respect your time, they do not respect you and the service you're giving them. And that is the biggest thing I find with cancellation, is that you will have people who cancel on you. They cancel last minute. They no-show. And that is a disrespect for you. And nothing makes me more upset. Nothing makes me more upset than that.
Well, and also if you don't set up those boundaries, and if people are doing that, like, that's on you.
And it is. I mean, the person's a a-hole. But there's no excuse for those people. But there is this sense of you needed to train them. They didn't have an expectation. They didn't understand. Maybe they go to places like yoga studios where if you don't show up, whatever, somebody else will take that spot. They don't know. They don't understand. And also people do not understand that we get paid per service.
Right.
So when they don't show, it's not like I get money magically. They're used to a job where they show up and they get paid regardless if they're sitting around doing nothing, right? So it's really important that we give that level of expectation. And I know that some people will actually tell their clients, if you don't show up, I don't get paid. I think that's very gauche, so I don't. But I set the expectation of, when you don't show, somebody else could have had that spot.
Right. Well, do you charge? I know this was part of, our conversations beforehand about, having people put a credit card down, or, because that is one way to still get paid for that spot, even if they're not there.
Yeah, I do absolutely. So I've tried all of the spectrum of this, and I feel it's very important that people have they have a charge policy. So for me, in my space, I have a no charge fee that I will note if you do not charge. If you do not show, I will charge you 100% of that service. If you cancel 24 hours in advance, I will not charge you. And if you charge a little bit around that and you have a good reason, I also probably won't charge you. So you call up and you're like, hey, Sybil, my kid had, chicken pox or the flu or whatever. Whatever. What am I going to say to that?
And you give everybody a one get out of jail.
And I do have a policy where I call it a life happens, right? My mom would say defecation occurs, So life happens.
Wait, did she actually say that?
Yes, my mom would actually say defecation occurs. We would all say shit happens, but my mom would say defecation occurs, and since Sybil Solon, esthetician, does not swear, that means, and if you did not listen to our last podcast,
you need to go listen to episode.
You should listen to our one on persona.
Yes.
Sybil Solon, esthetician, would be like, defecation occurs. So I call it life happens. And it's your get out of jail free card. So once a year, and I literally put this in their chart. It's a note in their chart, and you can do a sticky note if you keep paper. I keep digital charts. So it says at the very top in bold why they canceled, what they canceled for, when they canceled, detailed information, and it's get out of jail free. And so once a year, and as soon as that year goes by, I delete it off their chart if I catch it. Otherwise, it'll stay up there until they cancel again. So sometimes it'll be 6 years, and they're like, oh, you haven't canceled again for 6 years. You're a good client.
Gold star.
Right? And so everybody gets one a year because, listen, we've all had problems. We've all had times where just as my mom says, defecation occurs. Flat tires, whatever.
Yeah.
But any more than that, it becomes a habit. And habit-forming cancellation people, you have to make a decision whether you even want them as a client. For me, I don't want you as a client. You're not on my client list anymore. You're off. I bump you. And I know everybody has their kind of feelings about that. For me, you do it to me 3 times, shame on me. So first time, hey, you know what? Stuff happens. 2, you're now on my most wanted list. I'm looking at you being I don't know about this situation.
Definitely on the fence, can go either way.
Yeah. 3rd time, F this life. You are never getting on my book again. I don't care what the hell happened. I don't care if your mom died and it's a funeral. Forget it. I don't care.
Heartless.
Yeah. Hey, I just want to say thanks so much for watching. I hope that you're liking our content. If you are, if you could just hit subscribe and maybe smash a like button because, it really helps us continue with this channel. Also, if you really are enjoying it, because we're really trying to put out great content for you, you could also just ring that little bell that's around there somewhere because we are absolutely going to continue to put out great content like this, and I would hate for you to miss any of it. So thanks again for watching.
Well, so let's talk about that first time. You're here in the office. It's 15 minutes past. They're not here.
So one second.
Anything.
So 1 second. Let's go back for 1 second. So 15 minutes in LA is 15 minutes late is like still on time. So let's just go.
I was 10 minutes late today, so let's be fully honest.
So straight up, you need to know like your area. Like LA straight up 15 minutes late is on time. So when clients are like, they walk in the door and they're 15 minutes late and they're like, I'm so sorry I'm late. I know that they're on time. 15 minutes late though, they're 16 minutes late. I'm on the phone with them. Mm-hmm. I'm leaving a phone call. Okay. And as you were probably about to say, what would I do? So what I would do is I will call them and I say the same thing every time. Hi. This is Sybil. You had an appointment at X time with me for a X item. I just want to make sure you're okay. This is Los Angeles. Stuff can happen. You might have forgotten your appointment, but I just want to make sure you're all right. I get really worried about my clients. So could you just please give me a call? You're not in trouble. I just really want to make sure everything's all right. Can you please just let me know via email, text? And I don't text people. So when I ask for a text, they know that I'm serious. Okay. A text, and you might be in a meeting and just forgotten. Or, call me back. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Okay? And the reason why is I'm setting the expectation for them that I care for them. I'm worried about them.
It's about them.
It's about them.
Yeah.
And Sybil Soul Esthetician really cares. I'm not as worried about the fact that they've no-showed on me, that they might not be coming, that they forgot about this appointment. Mm-hmm. Now, after that, I will have a conversation with them. When they call me, they text me, they email me saying, oh my God, I forgot about the appointment. By the way, also, you will get a more real answer to why they're getting called into the principal's office if you're kind. If you're not like, hey, you have an appointment, why aren't you here?
Well, you catch more flies with honey than you do with vinegar.
Right. So you're like, oh my God, so I totally forgot. People call you back with that. And I'm like, hi, yeah, so everybody forgets occasionally. I'm looking at your chart. I see that this is the first time everybody gets...
You're like, but I never forget.
Dude, if I could tell you stories about times I've forgotten people's appointments. So...
also true story. I called her and dragged her out of bed to record one of these.
See? Life happens, man. It just happens.
Well, a defecation occurred.
It happens. So, I am not infallible.
Right. Everybody's human.
It happens. So I try to be understanding with those things. So let's say somebody calls you back and they're like, hey, I totally forgot this appointment. So my answer back to them is, okay, I see in your chart that this is the first time this happened or this happened a year ago or whatever. You know what? Everybody gets one off. Don't freak out about it. I'm putting in your chart. Let's get you rescheduled. Okay? And that's it. That's all it is. We have a conversation like that. Okay? Hey, I see that this is, this has happened before. Is everything okay in your life? Is everything going okay? So I'm going to phrase it like that. Is everything going okay? Because sometimes you'll be surprised the answers you get. Sometimes you get like, you know what? My best friend's dying of cancer. My dog's been ill. Mm-hmm. My son, you know what? He's in the military and I've been really stressed about him. Suddenly you get answers that you don't expect. Okay? And so you can tell people, you know what I'm going to do for you? I'm gonna you can make choices on your own. You can be like, you know what, I am gonna have to at this time. I'm gonna have to charge you half price or whatever. You can make your choices. So let's get to what I'm gonna do in that situation.
This is the second cancellation.
Mm-hmm. I'm gonna tell them pretty much regardless of what it is. I'm gonna tell them I'm gonna put this on your chart. Okay, just so you know, It's really important that people show up to their appointments. This is my how I make my living. And when you don't show, somebody else could have had that spot. Right. And so just by telling this is how I make my living reminds them that this is how you make your living. This is your job.
I know. Why do people forget that? It makes me so just like, what is wrong with you?
Right.
It's a whole nother.
And it reminds them that somebody else could have had that spot, that they're taking this valuable spot from somebody else. And then I'm quiet.
Which is like the number one thing in negotiations, and like she who speaks first loses.
Right. And I want to see how they're going to react. If they're just like, oh my God, Sybil, and I'm so sorry, I'm happy to pay the cancellation fee, whatever. I will straight up tell you, if they're willing to pay the cancellation fee, I'm probably going to let them off that second time. Mm-hmm. I'm probably just going to let them go. I'm still going to put in their chart because most likely they're going to do this a third time.
Right.
But I'm not going to charge them because you know what? They are genuinely sorry. They're not going to be able to get their life together. It's whatever. But they might be able to. Okay? Also, it depends on, for me, when I charge them my cancellation fee, how busy I was going to be. Okay? So for me, like, I'm back to back to back to back. Sometimes I've had a 12-hour day. I'm like, ooh, sweet lunch.
Right.
Like I just said, cancellation. Sometimes like, sweet lunch. But sometimes I'm like, that was a Saturday. I had 4 people on my wait list. I am 100% charging you.
Right.
Right? I am 100% charging you. Now, that no show that they didn't show, by them calling me, I'm not charging them 100%. I am going to charge them that 50% because they did call me back. A no show is I didn't hear from them at all.
Right. So there's definitely a difference. And also it sounds too, it's like it's very case by case.
It is.
Also like you're saying about how they react to being called out.
Right. You don't want to alienate people. You don't want to make them feel horrible about what they've done. And
or do you?
Well, in general, you don't, because you do have to think about the fact that this is a potential Yelp review. This is a Google review. This is somebody who's going to talk about you later.
Yeah.
This is your brand.
Your reputation.
This is your reputation. And you don't want to be the person who is out there as a complete asshole.
Yeah.
Right? There are some times where you have to be like very strong and mean.
Right.
But there are times where you can be like, listen, this person gave me back kindness. I'm going to give them back kindness. Once again, sometimes you don't know where they are in their life.
Yeah.
So it is case by case basis. And
well, and just about that case by case and like where they're at, I can imagine too for the client who you're like, hey, is everything okay? And then they open up to you. For them, you now are another like resource.
Yeah, you're confidant.
And their reliance on you is just, that relationship is so much deeper because they feel like they can count on you.
It's true, but I will tell you, more than 50% of the time, that person's probably going to get ditched as my client.
Really?
Because they're not going to be able to keep their life together.
No, because they got lost.
And I got no time for that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you right now, do not get suckered into a sob story. Okay? Put your CEO hat on and be like, this is a business and I need to do business.
Yeah.
So
that's a great point.
So there are certain ways to handle clients who are kind of like deep sucking you down into the
succubus.
Yeah, the succubus, yes, who are deep sucking you down. And most times it's just getting rid of them.
Yeah.
And I know it hurts sometimes because they're very nice people.
And their money is also green, but it's not that green.
Yeah, it's not. It's not. And there are strategies you can use to handle people who are, we'll get into that. So credit cards on file for clients. What will happen is there's so much to talk about with this. I'm just like thinking in my head. I'm putting it to the side.
I know.
There's so much to deal with. I've done like so many things, and I have so many other people who I've dealt with, who I've talked to how their strategies have worked and not worked. So credit cards on file. I do not keep credit cards on file. I used to, and I've never found that it's good to charge people. The reason why is because as the vendor, chargebacks are on you. So once credit cards became the chargeback is on me, it is now my responsibility to prove that that client did not show up, was supposed to have the appointment, and was not here. These are all like ephemeral ideas. Right? That, and people are like, well, I have a contract. I'm like, your contract isn't worth anything.
No.
You're like, I signed, Alex, you said you told me about that contract.
I know.
I'm like, so tell me the story about the lady who taught you about contracts and how she's doing right now.
I know.
Right?
No, it's true. It's very true. Well, and even, like what if in a situation, I know for me it's a little bit different that people have paid ahead of time. So even then, I'm just like, bye, I'm moving on.
Yeah. And one of the things you can do, so one of the things that will work, a strategy that can work for like what I call repeat offender cancellators, right? And we're going to use the word cancellators, all right? Because I use the word cancellators, having the chart cancellator. So what will happen, one of the things you can do is there's a few strategies that you can do with this. One of the things you can do is that you can limit their ability to schedule in advance. So understand that some of these people, they honestly want to see you. They just can't manage their lives, right? They're not good forward thinkers. They are not generals. They do not think of a strategy in advance. They're like, I woke up this morning. I don't know what's happening. Yeah. Right? That's cool. Understand their lives. It's cool. So be like, okay, so what you get to do is you get to call me on a day-to-day basis and we can like try to get you on my book. If you're like me, and that's never going to work, right? They're probably never going to know your book. You can see how it works for you if you're like, call me the week of and let me see if I can fit you in. If they still can't get on your book because either you're too busy or they still keep rescheduling, and I have those people, they're not going to be your client. I don't care how nice they are, and I have those people. I have one right now who's so sweet, and I love him, and yet
it's not worth your time.
I can't, and when he is in here, it's like $2,000, but I can't deal with it. Like, it's just too much drama.
Yeah.
It's just too much drama. So you can also move to the strategy of, and I swear this works, you look them in the eyes and you go, straight up, I love you. I wish I could keep you on my book, but this is how it's going to work. You can schedule. You need to pay in advance for this appointment. If you need to move this appointment, you get one move. After that one move, your money is mine whether you take that appointment or not.
Mm-hmm. Have you done that before?
Absolutely. I tell you, they will back down in a second and be like, and I'm like, that you hesitated? You and I both know how this is going to end.
Well, and then that's, you know right away.
Right. And, and you're like, you and I both know how it's going to end. And then you smile at them and say, so you know what's going to happen? You're taking money out of my pocket. And then you just kind of shrug and you're just like, you know what you're doing. See, they know what they're doing. They just don't freaking care about you. Mm-hmm. They care about themselves, and you know that they're kind of just, they don't care enough. So you cared more than they cared. And that you have to remember that moment when you deal with the succubus clients. Okay? But then there are those clients who are like, oh, I'll absolutely pay. And you're like, they truly think they're going to make that appointment.
And do you take that money?
Totally. You totally take that money.
Yeah.
And when they don't make the appointment, you're like, I'm very sorry, we had an agreement. We know what was going to happen.